Hey, y'all, Pastor Emil here with a midweek sermon recap. And if you were here with us on this past Sunday, hopefully you were able to enjoy the message on leaving a legacy that lasts. We're continuing to go through how Jesus is a man of his word, a series on that. Jesus promised he would rise again from the dead, and he did. And so if Jesus can promise that, well, then holy cow, we must be able to trust everything that he says, and not only that, but everything in God's word. And this particular week, we looked at 1 Corinthians 15, 1 Corinthians 3, and Matthew chapter 6, and we saw something that leads us to think about the future, the legacy that we all want to leave behind, the people that we want to bless that will be here long after we're gone, to think about all the wonderful things we did and all the things we left behind. But unfortunately, we know all too well that it's likely we'll be forgotten at some point. At some point, people aren't going to remember us. They're not going to remember our accomplishments. They're not going to remember that we even existed. And if somehow they know that we existed, they're not going to know that we mattered. They're going to assume we didn't matter if they can't remember us. But here's something from God's word. 1 Corinthians 15, Paul has talked about the resurrection of Jesus. He's been defending the resurrection of Jesus. He's been proving it. He's been affirming it. He's been doing all these things to help everybody know Jesus did really, literally rise from the dead, and you will one day too, in and through Jesus. But then he doesn't say, okay, so just don't worry about anything. Forget about the world. Forget about it altogether. Just think about heaven and eternity and all that wonderful stuff. This place is going to hell in a handbasket. Just let it, right? I think we've seen a lot of that going on the last several days. But here's what he says instead at the end. Therefore, since Jesus is raised, and you will be too, and death will be defeated, therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. That's what we spend our time talking about on Sunday. And gosh, brothers and sisters, this world needs us. This world needs our work, our labor in the Lord. This world needs us to be in relationship with people, to be at work in our world, to be loving people and serving people. There's just so much wrong with this world, so much chaos. So often it feels like the wheels are about to come off. And we're so consumed with things that don't matter. There is a reality that we will end. Our life, our legacy will end. In 1 Corinthians 3, Paul talked about how we have this foundation in Jesus and we can build on it. We are building on it, whether we realize it or not. And it's all about what we're building with. Are we building things? Are we investing in things that are like wood and hay and straw? Are these things that burn up real easily in fire? Or are we building with gold and silver and precious stones, things that not only last through the fire, but actually get more beautiful, shine brighter after the fire? Jesus is promising us that there are things that we can do, things that we will do that will last forever. Our labor is not in vain. Are we focused on those things? Are we focused on leaving a legacy that lasts? Are we sharing our faith? Are we sharing love? Are we serving our neighbor? Are we doing the best we can to make this world a little less awful than it is? I hope so. If not, I hope we can work together to do just that. God bless you. Good to be with you. Don't forget, your labor is not in vain because Jesus is alive. Bye-bye.